Hello, I'm Mike. Our company, Spotad, is a mobile user acquisition business. And so I'm going to cover, I think that probably 80% of what I'm going to talk about tonight, though most of the slides will be about our company, will be about the industry, both in terms of mobile and then rich media mobile user acquisition. I think listening to the room, this will be really interesting to some of you, and I think others of you that are already kind of in digital advertising will know some of this. Rich media is kind of new. Out of curiosity, who here knows what rich media is? Just, okay, fine. Who here's ever done a form of mobile advertising? Come on, some half of you guys are like marketers, no? SEO guys? Never done no mobile?
Desktop performs really good.
No, I'm not against desktop, just the growth right now is generally mobile. Okay, so look, let's learn about the mobile space. First, just kind of a sentence on us. We basically, our company is kind of a combination between a data company and a mobile digital advertising company, right? And everything's moving. You know, there's two massive industry trends overall in mobile advertising, or in advertising in general. It's data. You know, as you were mentioning, and a few of you were mentioning, data leads the way, and everyone's spending more and more time on these guys. And we all, is there any disagreement with that? Everyone's kind of more time, data. Okay, great. So if we kind of accept those two things as true, then what are the other components that make an advertisement successful? And just this is kind of actually, let me come back to that slide. Let's talk about e-commerce today. 2015. So no one expected mobile to be here this quickly. Mobile was representing 20% of overall online sales in e-commerce last year. This year that number is actually hovering around close to 50%. And in transactions under $100, in many cases it's over 50%. And so what does this mean? It means that people are very comfortable purchasing on their phone where they weren't a couple of years ago. Now reasons why is for the obvious, phones have gotten bigger, faster. Also, the checkouts have gotten a lot faster. And so for those of you that are trying to build a site, the most important thing you can do for your site is to have a quick checkout. That can be pay with PayPal or using Amazon for your checkout, or wherever it is. It might cost you something, but if you're looking for transactions on your phone, you'll lose people in the checkout. In terms of this number with the over $100 purchases, I don't know if people can see in the back because it's not that big up here. That number is growing, and so with the average purchase size on mobile growing significantly, people are getting more and more comfortable. Are people buying homes on their phones? No, but people are comfortable buying a one-week Airbnb for $2,500 in New York on their phones now. Or a year ago for Airbnb, that'd be a very rare transaction. Now it's quite common, and so really e-commerce. If some sites are still not mobile friendly, that's just a missed opportunity for sales, obviously. And so I wanted to one of the things to talk about is a lot of transactions for companies that are working in actual retail stores. People look at the products on their phones and then buy it in stores. And so there's even beyond the fact that 50% of transactions right now, or close to 50, are moving towards phones. A lot of people are kind of sitting in a Gap store looking online and then go while they're in the store even, so they can see easily what's there, so they know what they're looking for, and then ask the person and go try it on, purchase it, etc. And so, you gotta set that good.
Just one question. Yeah. The data you mentioned, 20% of people are buying online. Is it US or worldwide?
Last year, 2014, it was 20% of purchases were on mobile.
That's US or worldwide you're talking about?
I'm talking US. When you're thinking about India and China, it's very, these are half the world's population. And
just getting an idea.
Yeah. So I kind of touched on this. These are all the key factors as to why everything's moving towards mobile. And this is only going to get in tablets as well. This is only going to get further and further. This is just kind of where everything's going. And so there's some challenges with mobile. The biggest challenge for the people that love SEO and the people that love kind of data is that mobile innately doesn't have cookies. There's not as much data that's available on desktop. Also, people are using their phones as they're doing other things. When they're on their phones, they're generally not on it perusing the internet because they're bored at work. they're on it doing something while they're walking, in an app, playing a game. You know, they're on their phone with a specific purpose. So if you're going to try and, if this device is, on one hand, people are spending half the time purchasing on it, but on the other hand, they're not usually on it without intent. They would be on a desktop. You have a very narrow window to actually get someone to advertise someone successfully to get them to purchase something from their phone. And so the key is being as efficient with that as possible. There are advantages for the phone that you don't have on desktop. For example, the geography. You can know. I mean, you can advertise someone based on the street they're on nowadays. I mean, it's going to be very, very, very geo-specific. And it's in a very near future, you're going to be able to advertise like if someone walks past the store at a minority report. And so it's going to be scary, but the future, not far future. Let's kind of keep this thing moving. So our company, and I want to talk briefly about our company, more talk about kind of what you need to do in general to make this work with the kind of marketplace for phones. And so, what is rich media? How do I get my phone up? So rich media is like an interactive form of advertising. So 2 years ago, 3 years ago, rich media didn't exist. The reason why is because phone speeds were too slow and the graphics were too weak. And so as phone speeds have gotten faster and graphic capabilities on phones have gotten better, let's see, this is right. Oh, this thing changed. Okay. So that's happened. Your phones, the advertisements in the phones have been capable of doing more. So the universal standard. The universal standard on phones is static. Now, static ad is just something you either click on it or you X on it. It's like, how many of you have seen an ad on your phone? Everyone's seen an ad on their phone? Okay, how many of you actually, I'm really curious actually, raise your hand seriously, how many of you ever clicked on an ad on your phone?
Accidentally.
Yeah, how many of you intentionally at any point in time clicked on an ad on your phone? 1, 2, no, that's not the hand. 3, 4, okay, 4 out of 35. 5 of that, that's actually higher than that. The actual percentage of people that click on these ads, these click on these ads is 0.4%, 4 out of 1,000. Out of 1,000 ads, 4 people will click on it. That's the average for static. Now what these ads attempt to do is they're interactive. They ask you questions, you can interact with the ad, and based on how you answer the questions, there's different possible outcomes as to what will happen. So this one's asking if you want a home loan. You want a home loan for your new house, you want a variable rate, and then based on that, it'll take you to a different screen. And so it gets you interacting with the ad, you're much more likely the screen it lands on, because it's customized by what your interest is, you're much more likely to actually partake in it. Or for example, this one for an online casino, this one's for an online casino, so you actually can play a casino game, and if you stick around to play on this game, it'll take you to an install page. Oh, I didn't know. Was it not playing? It'll take you to an install page where now you download the app. And so these rich media ads are contextual ads that and I can't show you the one we do for Uber, but this will show you Get Taxi. So for Get Taxi, based on your actual geo, meaning we do an ad for Uber that as you're walking down this,
And it used to be Get with 2 T's.
I think they've actually changed.
They changed the brand.
In Israel it's still Get, but in the US it's Get.
Yeah, I was in the office with them, and the same guy holding, but it's completely different. Anyway, satellite.
Fair enough. So anyways, like for example, with Uber, if you can imagine, we do user acquisition for Uber. We drive downloads for Uber. If you open up your phone, our ad for Uber will show you exactly where you're standing, just like their home screen. And there'll be cars driving around, like the Uber driving around, and you can just say, pick me up here, and it'll take you to the install page. So that's an interactive advertising, much more effective than just a click on me or X me kind of thing. Is everyone following me on that?
So you guys create the whole ad. It's not like Google AdWords where you get to create. You are the ones.
Actually, no. So we create, in some cases we do custom, but actually in general, we're template driven. So what we've done is we've created templates that are plug and play, where people can go on themselves and actually create their own advertisement. So there's like, let's say right now, we're ultimately going to have a marketplace where designers, so for the guy at the graphic design company, could upload their own rich media-based template. People could use that template, and then the graphic designer will get a percentage of the revenue paid for that template, or of the media purchase for that template. And then different templates will have like different data that says, oh, this template works well for e-commerce, this template works well for taxi apps, or travel apps, or whatever it is. And all that data will cross-reference. Now the templates is only one, the creative is only one component. The rich media also, because it's not just X or click, you actually can see who interacted but didn't download or didn't purchase. So it tracks not only who clicks on it, but also who engaged it. So you can target not just people that clicked, so you can retarget, but people that actually engaged but didn't click. So actually that 6 times as many people will engage but not click, and so you'll have many more people you're retargeting. And so from a creative standpoint, rich media gets more data, and B, just gets a higher interaction. The negatives in the past have been it's really expensive to make because each one is very custom. And the way we've solved that is by using a template-based model. Does everyone understand like that rich media, like the basic component of what we're saying with rich media?
I mean, is the goal to kind of blur the line between the actual destination and the, excuse me, and the rich media? I mean, you want it to function kind of like an app, but it's not an app? Is that kind of the goal?
You want to make it something that people would want to engage with versus just like an ad. Like instead of just an ad, okay, now there's like a game here, or it's actually there's a function here, or you're answering a question here. Like you could be like, calculate your insurance, type in your zip code, and then you type in your zip code within the ad. Versus click here to get your insurance calculated and need to go somewhere else. And so it like saves that step, and it gets them interacting with the ad. And so they're saying like as basically more and more, as phone speeds go quicker and quicker, and because rich media is a higher level of engagement, more and more publishers, like right now only 15% of mobile media is available on rich. That's going to be 100% by 2018 because publishers can charge much more for that media space. So more and more publishers are making their media rich media enabled. So everything by 2018 is supposed to be rich media. Yeah.
Where do you usually advertise? Like, what sources do you use?
Oh my gosh, this is like amazing that you asked that question. It's so funny, you should ask. I have my colleague working for me with that. So basically, that's another problem. In the past, you've had, especially on mobile, very poor ability to actually target. Facebook, of course, being the exception. Google and other exchanges, which is called Rubicon or Mopub, which is owned by Twitter. These companies have actually significantly increased how you can target and who you can focus on. So you can target by specific apps, by app categories. You can target based on geo. You can target based on operating system. You can actually target, and this makes the thing about this for e-commerce, is you can target based on if someone's on Wi-Fi or if they're on 3G or 4G, whatever it is. For example, if someone's on Wi-Fi, that means they're probably at an office, cafe, or at home. They're sitting. And so they will have much, much more time to peruse an e-commerce-based advertisement. So you can get rid of everyone, just like 75% of the people that you just be, having a much lower success rate on e-commerce by advertising to people on 3G and 4G. And so such a basic thing can save you 70% of wasted marketing spend. And so there's like a famous saying like if every $1,000, it's like what is it? Like it's $1,000 in marketing. Where does half of this just wasted out of the gate? I'm not good with quotes, but like why?
That's kind of true.
Why?
Work on that
It's
quote.
not how much you spend on marketing, it's the perceptions of people's minds, basically.
But the thing is here it's very, very measurable. So you can see actually, it's all going to be tracked. Who clicked through, who actually went through to a purchase. You can see specifically based on the spend, what was the exact results, that which publishers worked. You can have data to assess every single specific component. And so the one thing that's like proven not to work and not to be effective is just a blanket spray. And like for example, if you're a taxi app, you can target only people that are moving. Like you can literally just, if you're standing still, you won't get this ad. But if you're walking, you'll get that ad. I mean, you can target very, very well. You have to be creative, right? SEO doesn't perform well on mobile. You have to be very creative with it. But there's a lot of ways to do it with mobile. And what's the most important part of that? Is data. Data. And the good news is there's like lots of data companies. You can buy data, but you can also create your own data. So as you're doing advertising, and you're plugging into a system, you're creating data. So there's plenty of third parties out there that will take all this data that you have, and Google Analytics is kind of like the starting point. But there's like, feel free to email me. I'll give you all the companies you need. But if you're spending money on mobile advertising, you can collect that data, and then you can optimize and optimize and optimize. But it's a different form of data, and it's a lot more complex than desktop because you're having to you're having to cross-reference a lot of different components from you know, what operating system, what time of day, to what you can actually run the data based on which ads you're doing. You A, B, C, D, E test the ads, and so there's a lot to kind of combine. So it's just kind of more, yes, data is exploding. I mean, they're saying that the two next big industries are, you know, data and cybersecurity. Those are like it's supposed to be like the two highest growth tech industries in the next decade. For the obvious reasons of all this hacking stuff, and because there's just so much more efficiency to be gained from data. So look, is this working or not? And I'm going to kind of wrap up here and open up to questions. Is this working or not? It's early stages for my company. We have 15 employees. We're Israel-based. We're moving the top guys here. But we've worked with some significant brands. And so on the e-commerce side of things, StubHub, Expedia, Hotel Tonight, are our biggest three. And basically StubHub specifically, as well as Hotel Tonight, has said our rich media has outperformed standard static by 4 times for StubHub and 2 times for Hotel Tonight. And so it's a very interesting environment. Status also great, and the same rules apply with data. You can just gain more from rich media. So you can actually take the data you get from rich media and use it for static and apply it the same way and see like brilliant results. And so that's like the gist of kind of rich media, mobile advertising, how we see it today. I really don't want to like talk to you guys because I feel like it'll get very boring. What questions do you guys have? And hopefully it's some beneficial. I guess we'll start with over here.
I'm still confused. Where do you get your inventory?
From exchanges. So Google AdX, so Facebook, for example. Facebook doesn't allow rich media though, so it's static. That will change. But Google AdX, Rubicon, MoPub, those are kind of like the big 3. And so they basically take all these publishers and they build it up into these exchanges, and then we have what's called a real-time bidder, and we're bidding using like a very sophisticated buying algorithm based on a lot of different factors, very data-centric, the inventory, real-time.
And so Facebook is going to do rich media, like kind of.
Look, the thing is, like, ultimately, Facebook, you know, when they started allowing videos in their newsfeed, videos can be played on rich media.
Right.
So like they didn't want to have videos because that'd be distracting to people in the newsfeed, and now at this point, like they said, forget about it, and rich media is kind of the next obvious thing.
Right.
And so, is it going to happen? Yeah.
Do you guys, how do you guys implement tracking of conversion goals? So how does it look in?
So you can put pixels all the way up the funnel. Meaning, so for example, I think, correct me if I'm wrong in your question. So basically, like, what we can track is not only if someone clicked on the site and went to the e-commerce site or downloaded the e-commerce app, we can actually see, we can put pixels all the way up the funnel of the site or the app to see, did it turn into a transaction? Is that your question?
Yes.
So you can see if it went to checkout, if it went to transaction, like how far they went. And then we can also retarget that person. So like people didn't transact, but did go in, you just retarget the crap out of them and follow them around different apps.
And on every step you can retarget, right?
Yeah. For example, Zeusk is a client of ours. I never downloaded this. I'm on all sorts of dating apps, but it's not Zeusk because they charge. And so I downloaded Zeusk. I downloaded Zeusk, but I never bought it. And Zeusk followed me in every app. I kid you not. This is my own following to myself. This is us. Basically followed me around my phone until it was it's painful. But it does, you do get worn down. Supercell actually acquired me that way. And I went on Clash of Clans and spent $60 on it. And they won. Did that answer your question?
Yes.
It was a lot of 2 years.
Only $60?
I have a question and a comment. I also like Clash of Clans, but I deleted it because it's addicting.
Same. I haven't done
And I
it.
was like, I'm not spending a penny on it. But my question is, how can you track the user if there are no cookies?
Because the beauty of rich media is once they start engaging with it, it labels their phone. It paints their. We get their we get feedback from their phone that they've engaged our ad because they're in our ad. They're on our system.
The feedback meaning if they put their zip code?
Meaning they did anything with that ad. It'll highlight them for we have that registry. It's not the IDFA, but it's we can follow them. And we can retarget.
That sounds very scary.
We're probably following you right now.
I was wondering how it happens if there's no cookies or there's no, you couldn't get my name, unless you could get my name.
We can't get your name now.
Okay,
Well,
so I'm an ID number, but not necessarily.
No, but we can see that you've engaged. We can see that you've engaged. I mean, on Android you actually get the on Apple it's a little bit more complex than Android, but on Android you actually get the phone ID and you can go after them. On iPhone, it's a different process, and I don't want to speak out of turn. But if they engage with the rich media based ad, you can, or if they ever download anything like through the ad, like you can know, okay, this person is likely to like if they download a game, like they will forever download and just like target them for games forever.
So basically, because I know every phone has like an IMEI number.
The IDFA for
yeah.
Apple, yeah.
So that's what you're hooking into.
Not for Android essentially, and for Apple it's different. Like if you can imagine, it's like once you engage the ad labels you.
Yeah.
It's like it puts a little tag on you, and you can just follow that tag.
Okay. Because just to add on to what he's saying, because I'm thinking like to know that it's verifiable, like these are actual phones. These are not like ghosts.
So that's a big
You know what I
problem.
mean?
So it's the beauty of that, totally. So the beauty of that, especially with static, is much easier to be ghost, but because it's rich media, they're actually interacting. There's more to it. Also, with like rule-based optimization, you can see you can set it so like if you have like 5,000 clicks but no installs, then like that publisher is like providing bots, and that's like a bad publisher. Those are bad clicks, and then you can like automatically it'll programmatically get rid of that publisher.
Okay.
Do you guys already have some sort of editor where we can play around with mobile ads and
Yes.
templates, so we can get access to that, like in AdWords, for example?
Yeah.
Okay.
With rich media, Google uses our templates
Mhm.
in Israel only right now.
But since you're squared off directly with the SEO guys here, I'm just wondering with the new technology that's come out, what markets do you feel like before might have been dominated by SEO where this new technology is
So
going
I didn't know SEO. I mean SEO. I don't know much about SEO, so I can't speak to SEO. It's complete. I'm happy to hear that it's not big on mobile, so we're not even competing, which is great.
Well, but with certain things, you're going to be sit down, you're going to do research, you're going to type in the keywords, it's going to come up, you're going to be ready to make a decision, then you're going to click on it. With this mobile stuff, it seems like it's more like you're in the moment decision, ready to, that pops up and helps you make that
This
decision.
mobile works where you're able to like have a very sophisticated mobile works where you're able to have match the data saying people who look at news apps after work tend to like to buy Starbucks.
Mhm.
And so if you're Starbucks and you target someone who's looking at his news app, because if you look at his news app after work, he's probably commuting somewhere or whatever it is. You know to target that news app person at this time in this geo. And so you have to look at trends and patterns and then target and optimize. And not only that, optimize the creative, not just and the offering. There's a lot of different components, but it all comes from data. SEO is heavily competing with paid advertising, paid search, which is a different beast. We're competing not with any of that. We're trying to basically catch people as they're doing trying to catch people that would like the things we have based on other things they're doing.
But I mean, I search, I go on Google and I search on my phone sometimes, so that's SEO, isn't it?
Yeah, we're not doing anything. You use Google AdX, and we do stuff within mobile web, but we're never advertising on search engines. No result. No ads of ours will ever come up on a result for a search engine.
No.
They'll come up in your apps though, or if you're randomly on the Cosmopolitan page for a girls dating app. We own that.
Yeah, basically, I just wanted to add something. So SEO is SEO and ads. It just makes your business more complex, complex approach. Because like you said, someone gonna search on Google,
Mhm.
someone gonna search on Yahoo, someone gonna click through ads. So you just want to cover everything, and if you do complex approach, it's just it's gonna be even better.
Yeah, SEO does really well for people
I
who
guess
know
to clarify my question, if I was a company and I had $1,000 to invest, I'm going to either hire SEO guys or hire you.
So
Right?
totally-
So what industry do you think that before, the $1,000 would have gone good to SEO, where now it says?
Ads
Yeah,
is
that's it.
with ads you have results tomorrow, let's say. Okay, not tomorrow, but you have
Right away,
results
that's great.
right away. And with SEO, this is long-term investment, so this is this is really different stuff.
Yeah.
So
Depends on
it's
the audience.
renting an apartment and buying a house. So
Mm.
it's
Yeah.
with SEO you have long-term, and if you build SEO, if you build your presence online, in terms of SEO, you have leads free for next few years. until it
Yeah.
converts, like
My-
B2,
my
whatever.
last
But
bus-
with ads, yeah, you
Our
have
last business
trust.
was B2B, we would never do this, but we used SEO, because we were looking for a very targeted person who was like, wanted to make things in China, and so that made sense for us. You know, SEO is for someone that's looking, like, if your buyers, if you want someone that's like looking for something, you would do something like that. If our buyers don't know that they're gonna love this game, like, they don't know that, they don't like Paint Monsters is gonna be like their best favorite game, we just wanna give them a little taste in the ad and make them download it and they're stuck, and they can spend some money. It's just like, it's a different beast. But ultimately, if you're gonna have $1,000, you probably should spend it on Facebook, because that's the quickest and simplest. So, like, I don't know. I mean, everyone's like 12 digital marketers here. If I had $1,000 and that $1,000 to my name, the best, safest bet is for sure Facebook, and you can just do it yourself. It's really easy. And so that's like the easiest play.
With your platform, would I be able to use it as AdWords right away? Like if I go home, I can put in $60 and launch some ads and see some basically clicks in your statistics, etc. Or I have to call you and I have to set up.
No, it's SaaS.
Uh-huh.
It's self-service.
Okay.
But right now we we have only let's say 15 clients that are doing self-service. The rest is agency.
Mhm.
We don't have the manpower from like the customer service and bug tracking to make it like a full like, you know, unleash it to the long tail of 1 million people who will use it. That's like probably 2016.
Mhm.
But yes, for the people that are using it, they can just go on, they can pick their artwork, they can upload their pictures, they can customize how they write it, the sizing, this and that, the promotion, do ABCDE testing, buy the media, select the budget, it's all there on the platform.
So it's all basically just going to the Spotad, however you want to customize it.
There's a
And you
lot
have
of
channels
platforms like this.
So let's say you're doing something like a food play. If you want to do something like, I guess things like you have like Seamless and all these others like Grubhub, and you're selling food, whatever, it's like a restaurant, whatever. But you want to create traffic. Would you use your service for that?
Yes, but Facebook will be easier, quicker.
Facebook will be quicker.
Facebook will be easier, quicker. Like if you like in a world like the easiest and quickest way just to begin is for sure Facebook. In my opinion, I think we're great, but like we're not as long a play as SEO. But like there's just data. You're gonna need more data. Like you're not gonna know immediately from us. You know, which app categories correlate with that. You're going to guess that, okay, you're advertising food app categories, you're advertising here and advertising there. Facebook, you can just select people with these likes that like these companies, and you can't get narrow with Facebook. And so like, we're like the next tier after Facebook. Facebook would probably be the first places to begin.
Alright, and I guess, was this because it's the lowest hanging fruit? Is that why?
I mean, if you have like a very small budget and don't have a ton of experience in this, it's the simplest. It's just by far the simplest.
Well, just be very careful. I've seen people spend a lot of money on Facebook and don't get much.
You ever saying spending $1,000? I mean,
Depending on demographic, yeah. So it's depending on what business you're targeting, who you're targeting. So it's like, I would say $1,000. I would spend actually personally. It would be more on figuring out who's your clientele, figuring out content, figuring out other stuff before you spend on AdWords or stuff like that. Just like really sit down, figure out how to set it up.
In some cases, just we can spend it on rent and then
Yeah.
pick up yellow pages and start calling clients who would be possible.
So I guess what's the threshold in that then? Because with rich
So-
media,
so-
people looking to
Well, it's not just rich, it's mobile in general. So in order to get optimized, that's like the magic word is like optimization. In order to like get to a point where like you can actually just figure out what your cost per acquisition is, you spend $5,000. Like the $5,000, you'll spend the first 2,000 will be almost a full waste because you will have no idea what's working and what's not working. The next 3, by the end of it, you'll have a gauge, and we usually tell companies 10. 5 though, you'll at least have like that last 4 to 5. You'll probably have like a decent amount to say, okay, this is what's working, this is not working. Now you can apply the next 5 and do well with it. So if you were like a company with like spending regular money in mobile or advertising, it's like give us 10K. Let's see what we can do. The first 5K is gonna probably be a wash, and the next 5K you'll actually get some kind of gauge of things. Like for $1,000, it's just not gonna be. It's not gonna be.
In terms of targeting, can you describe more of user behaviors we can target? For example, if somebody walks in circles, we will show them ad for psychotherapists or I don't know, something like that, with more targeting options. So one of those were Wi-Fi versus 3G, 4G.
Yeah.
What are
Operating system, Wi-Fi, I think gender. Yeah, gender. You can target moving. You can target app category, app daytime, day of week. You can target in certain cases like what apps they have on their phone. Like if they have like certain apps, even if it's not in those apps.
If they have, for example, certain, for example, can we target people who have certain very expensive, say, engineered apps or something like that?
Yeah.
Okay. Sounds good.
Look, my industry is incredibly deconsolidated. It's incredible. It's like the frontier. There's a million companies with algorithms. There's a million companies. There's a million startups. There's literally a million startups with different advantages, and it's all going to consolidate. Like FPP is buying a company and a half a week. Google's buying 2 companies a week in ad tech. Facebook's buying, and Twitter's a company every other week, and Facebook's buying about a company a week. So my industry is consolidating quickly. But right now, there's you can't go wrong with any of the big players, right? Google or Facebook or Twitter, which is Mopub. You can't go wrong with them. There's a lot of these like small guys like us who are just growing very quickly that are kind of more like flyers. Eventually, we're all going to be one of these big companies. But the moral of the story is you need to be on mobile if you're expecting to be in e-commerce. If you're going to be on mobile, the question is like what's going to be your cost per acquisition, right? Like what's going to get you the best bang for your buck? We think rich media. Native is really good as well, and so that's when it's like very relevant. Like if you're reading an article on the Air Force, like in that article they're advertising about like airplanes. It's like contextually based advertising, and so that really is the key. Do not pray and spray. Do not be broad. Be targeted. Be narrow. Spend some money. Use data. Try and get people interacting as much as you can with your ads. But don't ignore mobile because people are buying lots of things on mobile now. Cool?
How do you make money?
Well, there's 2 sides to my business. On one side, as an agency, I buy in views and I sell in installs, and so if I have high engagements, it's like a big margin there. So I buy per 1,000 impressions, and then I have like a certain engagement rate, and I get paid, let's say, if I had 1,000 impressions for $5, and let's say in that 1,000 impressions I get 10 installs, and I sell this install for $3. That's $30. I make $25. Like in a world that don't exist. But in a much less profitable way, that'd be it. And then on the other side, for people using my SaaS platform, I'll just get a percentage on top of media spend. So if someone's logging in and buying lots of media, I'll charge 15% on whatever media they're buying as a licensing fee.
Wow.
So
Back to 15% commission.
I mean, it varies, but the thing is, you have to remember, like, the way we're basically marketing ourselves, like, our algorithm's saving them much more than that because we're buying their media so optimally, and they're paying nothing for creative and nothing for anything else.
So you guys don't do any of the creative?
Well, there's creative. We do for like big clients, but like for our SaaS platform, there's just templates, and they just upload their art.
But somebody like McCann who's on your list, they're going to do their own.
None of them creative, so they just upload their creative into art.
So you're rich media, so let's say, hey, I want to run a 15-second commercial.
Yeah, you can do that in Emerald.
You can target regions, so if I want to do like, let's say North Carolina or Raleigh.
Yep, you can target by zip code.
You can do by zip code?
You can do zip code, city, state.
Can they run at certain times too, so I can...
And you can run video. It's like obviously video is very successful right now. Video media is more expensive than static and rich media, but like the backdoor way into videos, you can actually run video on what's called MRAID, which is rich media. So you can actually pay rich media prices, which is less than video prices, but run videos. And so that's that's a good fun fact.
Is it less expensive than running a spot on a local TV network?
I have no idea.
No.
Local's still more, right?
Yeah.
But if you get the same hits though.
How about 10 seconds? 10 seconds infomercial you can run?
You can run whatever you want. I mean, you can run a 30-second clip. Like we recommend, like people have it auto redirect sooner than better, though, obviously, because you want like people, you lose people. But like you run 10-second clip, 30-second clip, however you want to do it.
Well, how are the rates? How can we find out the rates?
I mean, a CPC cost per completed view, like if it's run well, will be between 4 and 6 cents.
Do we have like the viewerships to those?
I'm sorry.
The viewership.
If it's targeted well. I mean, if you're targeting like, if you're targeting like a black dating site on like white Christians, then like probably the cost would go much higher because like, they're just not gonna be interested in like the whole thing.
Well, my point is, I see where you're going with this. So it's 4 cents for 10 seconds, but if you do a spot market or you're doing syndicated market on TV, that's like the price is way up high.
But how many views? Yeah,
Exactly.
You
But if everybody's on mobile,
can reach quite hundred. I have some points where they can reach 150,000 people.
She's completely right. But here's the thing: like the thing about TV is like something like 40% of people that watch TV during commercials are on their phones anyways, and so like they can actually have two commercials going at the same time. But like it's like actually mind blowing.
Yeah, yeah,
mind blowing
yeah.
data. It's all mind blowing.
Yeah, but also they record in the DVR. They record and they back and forth when they look at it, whatever.
Yeah, there's arguments for branding TV all the way. It's just for branding you do everything, but like branding leads TV. But mobile's direct response, you can measure it. So like someone wants to see a direct result, they want to measure the results. Like anyone with a user acquisition, financial strategy, they're gonna go for things like SEO, mobile, etc. And it's easily measurable. Or like a TV ad that's like call right now, everything's moving towards measurability. But TV and billboards will always exist.
Just want to jump in though, just saying that you can look at it from the way like what's better in that sense. You want to look at how can you measure it, because if you're compare TV to the video ads, it's like comparing apples to I don't know like some very overgrown oranges. It's not normal comparison. So you gotta figure out what do you want to find out. Are you comparing want to see how your visitor tracking and doing? Then it's mobile or video is much better. Whatever you do it for TV, you're just really doing blanketing.
Yeah, it's like Subway.
So it's completely different. So you cannot track.
It's always have been like this kind of discussion about this. I've been in the industry more than 30 years already. And some people thought that probably all these technical and digital devices will end up with television. But the fact is that more people want to be served. It's like when you go to a restaurant, you want to be served with the food on the table. You can cook in your house all the time. And that happens with the interaction with the digital. You always have to interact. The television, people just sit there to be served, to watch whatever, a game, whatever. So that's always going to be there.
The difference with television, agreed, television will always be there. The thing that's like that for everything digital is that you know exactly like, but television, all you know is like it's on this TV show, but you don't know who the person is. You know if you're watching it or she's watching it. And you guys are very different demographics. I know based on like a lot of factors that at the very least, these things about you, and so it's just much more targeted. And so you're just able to target much more. And that's only going way, and that's going to go, the data that they're building is going to be so crazy. And they're collecting on all of us from our phones is going to be so insane that the ads that you're going to get are going to like have your names in it, and they're going to be like, how's your sister? I mean, it's just like, it's just like, no, I mean, I'm kind of joking, not really. Like, it's really going to be...
like Minority Report.
It's going to be like Minority Report. You're going to walk into a Gap, and they're going to know the last purchase you made at the Gap because it was made on your Apple phone, and so they'll know exactly what you purchased. They say, oh my God, guess what we had? You're going to love it. And they'll know because I bought white linen pants last time, I'm for sure going to like these new green linen ones or whatever else. And so, like, that's what's going to happen. And, look, the takeaways, if there's any takeaways, it's just like literally it's like mobile, data, get people engaged. Like that, that's like the three things in e-commerce. I think that's like the most important thing right now. It's like use data, high engagement, and like don't forget about mobile phones because desktop, very important, SEO, all great, but like this has never been more relevant and it's going to be more relevant. Cool guys?
And this is with people all the time. You cannot bring the television with you.
So I hope this was productive. I didn't know, what everyone was expecting, but thank you for having me.
All right.